Just a quick video of some of the harbourside in Bristol. This is the Matthew ship, which is the replica of the original Matthew that went about 500 years ago, went to Newfoundland in Canada and travelled across the Atlantic. Took about 52 days apparently, but it's not a very big boat to travel in. You can just see as I swing around a little bit, it's got a bit of a hold lower down, but space is a bit of a premium in it really. So behind me, as you see beyond, so you can see going out towards the River Avon. So this is I think it's called the floating harbour. This is the main harbour. Now it's kind of more like pleasure craft, and some people living actually in houseboats as well. This one behind me is called BEE, and it's actually quite a nice one actually. I like that. It's got a bit of character to it. You see some of the old sheds, but now on the whole, a lot of this has been turned to some great housing. A bit further down, a lot of it's been turned to housing. You can see some housing behind. It was a bit derelict when I was a kid, but it's been sorted out quite a lot, and it's quite nice as you walk down. Really nice in summer weather, but it can get a bit windy and cold sometimes as well. I'll just swing around, you can see a bit more. So in the background there is like that heads towards the sort of the centre proper in Bristol, and some of it is actually covered over, but the water goes underneath a central kind of road network. So yeah, it's got quite a lot of character to it as a city. It's great to be here next to the water as well. So the other things I can mention is behind me there's a whole series of cranes which were used, of course, for the docks to unload the ships. Lots of warehouses around the side, and then if I go a bit further down, you can probably see it in a second, but there's a steam crane, which was actually powered by steam when it was in operation, and there was a little railway as well that went down along and took all the goods. You have to be a little bit careful when you're walking along here because there's all this railway lines still, and I've caught my foot in them before. It's very easy to do. So I don't know if you could just about see it as a grey object. That's the steam crane that was powered by steam. I'd try and walk down a bit further towards that as well. See this ship called BEE, which is lovely actually. It's a really nice one. There's quite a lot of quite large ships as well as barges and smaller boats. But I always thought it'd be quite nice to live on that one actually. It's got a bit of character to it. It's a little bit rusty in places, but hey, it adds to the character of the boat. So here there's you can see there's a little bit of a railway line here that's the steam crane there. You can see it a bit more clearly there. So this railway line went down, and as a bit further down I can't see it quite so clearly from here where I am now, but a bit further down there's the SS Great Britain, which was for many years it was in operation, and then it was Brunel had designed it as a steamship. Many years it was in the Falkland Islands. My friend who grew up on the Falkland Islands remembers it. It was kind of used as a store, and it was like just a hulk. It was pretty much abandoned for a long time, and then it came back to Bristol, and some of my family remember it coming back. I think I couldn't quite remember, I was very small at the time, but it came back and got restored here, and has been like a tourist attraction for quite a while. And they put it back together. I think you can see the steam crane a bit more clearly actually here. So they do little railway trips here as well along this little small railway line that does. It's got a few little locomotives, and they do odd little trips here up and down during the summer. So yeah, there's quite a lot a lot of nice boats actually along here, and there's a little ferry that goes back and forwards across as well. Here we are. I'm right next to the steam crane now, so it's probably can't see because it's all back to front. So, but yeah, so it's called the Fairburn Steam Crane, 1878, and it was made to handle very heavy loads on ships in the docks. It worked until 1973 and can still lift 35 tonnes. It's now a scheduled ancient monument. There's some more of the boats there, so you get a bit more of a view. Yeah, just wandering around along here. It's quite a nice walk here, but a little bit cool today. So Bristol had some very hot weather, and then I was going to lift my glasses because these reading glasses, and I often miss my step, which I don't want to try and do over these railway tracks. 1 second. So here we are. I shall walk across very carefully. Yeah, so this is one of the wagons here. Yeah, so if you haven't been to Bristol, I recommend it. It's a very beautiful city. It's about the actual city population of Bristol proper is about 500,000, about 500,000, but the city as a whole is bigger than that. So the boundary is a bit weird. It's the original boundary, doesn't really quite relate to the city as it is now. There's probably about 1 million people really within the city, the urban area, and that's sort of extended. So towards the northeast, towards where the M4 and M5 motorways are, the big highways, it's much flatter. But if you go towards the south of Bristol, where we are, there's a lot more hills, and it's more difficult to build new homes and that sort of stuff. The other thing also, there was a lot of coal mining towards the south of Bristol and into Somerset, into the Mendips. So when we were buying our house, for example, one of the things we realised, which one of my family told me because they've worked as a surveyor, is that there's a lot of mining, and people actually don't know quite where all the tunnels are. They go back a long way. So it's more complicated. So when there's been a big discussion in Bristol about building underground and things like that, of course that discussion becomes a bit more complicated in some parts of the city where you don't know where you've got holes already, so not so straightforward. Anyway, there's some nice bits of the centre here near the harbourside where people have set up little businesses and some kind of container type shops and things like that. Really pleasant actually. So as you can see, there used to be an old jail up here, and this used to be right near here. Used to be a massive car park, and they did quite a big dig, archaeological dig, when they cleared that. That's the over here is the M Shed Museum, which has been there quite a few years now. So the M Shed was one of the cargo sheds that they had back in the day. Anyway, so a few thoughts on Bristol. The harbour side is really nice. It's quite a pleasant place to come and visit when opportunity is there again, as I know that it hasn't been very easy to go and do some tourism in Britain at the moment, but anyway, hopefully that will change. As you can see, all these businesses are all rather quiet at the moment. There's a bit of a lack of activity, and they're not the easiest businesses to run in the COVID situation because all the container things are very, very small, so they can't really have many customers in them. So that's been a bit of a tough old time for business, as you can imagine, if you've got a small venue. So I hope you're doing okay. A quick very whistle stop tour of a little bit of the harbour side of Bristol anyway, and I hope you're well. Enjoy the video, and I shall share it and hopefully see if we can put some other ones up on the YouTube channel as well. Do like and subscribe if you get to enjoy it. Okay, bye for now.